Testing, testing. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? We are finally back. It feels like forever since I've done a live stream, but realistically, I think I only missed like a day. Hope everyone's doing well. Make sure to let me know how the audio sounds. Actually, Brad Mills, who will hopefully be on today, hooked me up with a sick new mic. So let me know if the audio sounds good. And yeah. Yeah, a little late. Just getting started here, Harbinger. Hall's Balls, good to see you. Sounds good. Awesome. I'm glad the audio works. The reason why I took a minute getting on was I was setting up all the audio, got a whole bunch of new apps I had to use. So I'm glad everything sounds good on the audio side. Awesome. Guys, appreciate you guys letting me know. We'll jump right into it. What a crazy past couple of days, huh? Absolute insanity. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's put it that way. Things are crazy. Darren Naples, good to see you. 1970, good to see you, brother. Great to have you here. Darren, good to see you. Hall's Balls. No. I'll be on vacation next week, but still uploading. That was just kind of a weekend trip to Maine. I got my last kind of summer vacation coming here pretty soon. And then I'm done. Then it's just back to the full on grind. But yeah, had a nice long weekend in Maine, which was a lot of fun. Definitely needed. Very relaxing. So that was awesome. Oh, Colin, I hope you enjoy it, brother. Hope you shoot low. Yeah, definitely a wild weekend, Taylor. Absolute insanity going on. We're gonna cover everything we can today. But talk about a crazy time in the market. That's something we still didn't fix. The laggy stream. That's next up on the fix. You sound like Barry White. I don't know. I need to figure out who that is. Interesting. When I pulled him up, that is not who I was expecting to see. Brian says, make sure to hit the like button. Appreciate that. Crypto Clay, good to see you. All right, let's take a look at the market here and get started. Appreciate you guys all coming. You guys are absolutely incredible, and it's good to be back doing the live stream, man. Missed you guys. Oh, classified documents case was just dismissed. I had no idea. Crazy. Roger, good to see you, brother. Love to see you here. No, I didn't know who that was, Halls of Balls. I didn't know who that was. No, apparently that's a tough person for me to not know who they are. That's funny. Oh, the chef from South Park? Oh, that's hilarious. Interesting. So I definitely wanted to bring this up. Galicio, good to see you, brother. Yeah, no, it was funny. I was thinking about how much time it was since I did the last live stream. It really wasn't that long ago, but it feels like an eternity ago. I guess with everything going on in the market, that will do it. Let's take a look at the XRP price chart real quick because something definitely interesting happened here. We talked about real quick kind of how the XRP price chart was breaking down quite a bit. But it's funny. We kind of hopped right back in within the triangle, and now we're just back in full on consolidation mode. So I thought this was pretty crazy to see XRP kind of hop right back in here. And this is now getting tit for tat for what we did back in 2017 when we went on the massive 10,000% parabolic movement. So, oh God, Defin. Glenn Miller, good to see you. Shout out from Scotland. Awesome. I've never been to Scotland, but I have one of my uncles is from Scotland. So huge shout out to Scotland. Thank you, Brian. Really appreciate you making sure people hit that like button. Yeah, guys, if you exit out of the chat real quick, it'll be really easy to drop a like in the stream. Kawaii Girl, good to see you, Kawaii Girl. Great to have you here as always. I look Scottish. I'm Irish. Who wants to guess what XRP will be worth in 2032? Hopefully triple digits by then. Let's pull up. I want to get over to Trading View. I think interest rates might look interesting right now. We'll take a look at interest rates. Let's get a good market refresher. I haven't got a good chance to really look at the market today. So spend the first couple minutes just refreshing myself and maybe relearning how to use Trading View, apparently. Let's see what we got in the chat. Yeah, Russell was looking good. Kind of expected, long overdue, but nice to see kind of that rollover into the Russell. We'll pull a Bitstamp real quick, get this logarithmic chart for XRP at a better time frame. So kind of what I was talking about earlier was we kind of had this moment back in 2013 through 2017 where we were putting in a very similar symmetrical triangle pattern, and then XRP fell out of it right here, ultimately just to hop back in and ultimately go on its parabolic move. And we're kind of seeing that same exact thing right now, which is incredible. If we take a look at XRP right now, we can see that XRP is putting in a very similar looking formation. But funny enough, right before kind of we're expecting the case to end and the bull market to continue and all this stuff, we kind of had this same moment where we fell out and then pulled back in. So it's just kind of like that last thing before we ultimately get that big price expansion. I did not confirm that. I did see that Ripple's exit from both Bitstamp and Tranglo. I don't have any information on that, and I really haven't had time to form too many opinions on it yet, but I would assume it's correct. I don't really have any reason to think it's incorrect. I'm not necessarily too worried about it one way or the other, but I think it is correct. 95% chance of a rate cut. Is that what they're pricing in? Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar's probably taking it on the chin a bit. Okay, so today's not a bad day for the dollar, but we've had a couple of days in a row down, and now we're actually at a pretty critical point here. We'll probably see a decision from the dollar here pretty soon. It's been in no man's land, kind of trading sideways for a while, and eventually it's going to have to make a directional move here. I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar kind of made a push down to some of these lower ranges here and really started to put some pressure kind of down this bottom range. That would put the dollar back down to around 100. And then over the long term, I think we all know where I personally think the dollar is going to go. That's down pretty significantly along this macro trend where the dollar rises and then ultimately falls back down. So I think whenever we kind of get above this trend line, there's a large probability the dollar comes back down below it. So kind of just watching that right now. 95 in September. Oh, is Powell coming out here? Did I completely forget about that? Should we get that live? We can get that live. We can watch Powell live. Just go for his initial questions. Fire Dog, good to see you. I totally forgot Powell was going live today. 95% rate cut in September. Yeah, that's huge. This is playing out exactly how we thought it was going to, by the way, with the interest rates. I mean, interest rates dropping towards the back half of the year, Federal Reserve pivoting. Small caps look to continue breaking out. market expansion loading. Yeah, that we would really like to see the market expand a bit here. Stackham, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Fire Dog, you are not late, man. We were just getting caught up with everything that happened over the weekend to start, and now kind of just getting into whatever price action is hanging around. I'll take a look at X real quick, see if anything interesting is going on X. I know Powell's about to do his thing. I'm not sure yet if we're going to cover that. I'll make a last minute call. Could be a little boring. I don't want to just sit here and listen to Powell talk if it's nothing interesting. Might be better just to look at the recap. So we'll see. I thought this was pretty interesting, guys. This is a chart of Ripple's progress on the CBDC side by Juniper Research. And it actually has Ripple as the far leader on CBDCs, with people like Consensus, MasterCard, R3 all lagging behind when it comes to both capability and product positioning. So really good to see Ripple making big strides on that CBDC front. Fingers crossed for Vivek. Yeah, for sure. It'd be pretty disappointing if Trump came out with someone. I mean, at this point, for me, it's going to be a little disappointing if it's anyone other than Vivek. Like, I don't really know anyone I'd want to see in there other than the Vivek. So, yeah, Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference still. Walt Gardner, good to see you. And great talking to you this weekend, Walt Gardner. Excellent getting to sit down and talk with you. Only 68 likes, guys. Make sure to drop out of the chat real quick and drop that like on the stream. So helpful. We have almost 200 people in here. So if you guys go and drop a like on the stream, it's going to get more people in here. We'll be able to teach more people about XRP. Yeah, I've been hearing other people. It's probably going to be. Look, that's always been one of my biggest issues with Trump. I don't think he necessarily picks good people necessarily to surround himself with. He has had good people he's picked before in the past. I would hope it was Vivek, but we'll see. We'll see. Look, Vivek's going to be by far the best for crypto. Vivek is going to be by far the best thing for crypto. So it would be great if he could get picked, but it's not the end of the world. Did I catch any fish? No fish were caught. Absolutely no fish were caught. And normally I have a pretty good amount of luck when it comes to fishing. I got absolutely nothing to bite. So not a lot of fishing luck, but I did a lot of good jet skiing, which was fun. This is a great chart by Smoke right here, breaking down how interest rates affect the cryptocurrency market. Silver Days, great to see you. Great to see you. As you guys can see, as soon as we had low interest rates, the market ripped. As soon as interest rates went higher, the market dipped. Imagine what's going to happen if we see another big dip in interest rates and we see the interest rates come down from where they're sitting right now at above 5% to even something lower, like 3%. I think that's going to really correlate to the cryptocurrency market being able to make a big move up. And this is something we've been talking about. I mean, I've been talking about interest rates coming down since mid-2022, right about here. And we slowly saw them level off. And now I think it's time that they start pushing in the other direction. So typically when the Federal Reserve jacks up rates, they don't keep them there. I have a feeling we're coming to the other side of that. And as you can see by this chart, that would be very beneficial for the cryptocurrency industry. Really appreciate everyone smashing that like button as well. You guys are incredible. All you have to do is exit out of the chat, and it should be nice and easy to get that done. So appreciate people who do that. Let's see, what else do people got? Ash Crypto. No, I didn't see his video on the XRP price chart. I'll check it out. From February. Like this February, did he just predict it was kind of trade sideways to down? It doesn't seem like much has happened too much. Got a 2050 EMA cross here down at the lows. BTC XRP daily. Last time we did that, 3x versus Bitcoin, and 3x would now break us out of the symmetrical triangle on the weekly. Oh, Bitcoin Andy, appreciate the alpha there. We'll jump over the chart and check out XRP to BTC. We haven't looked at that in a bit. Oh, very interesting. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I totally make sense. I slept on this a little bit. It looks like we have a very nice candle coming in on XRP to BTC. It's crazy how these things just play out. Oh, very interesting, Fire Dog. I'll have to check that out. If you get a chance and you can shoot me a DM of that, I would love to take a look. I always like looking at people's price predictions and stuff like that. All right, so as we can see right now, we have XRP kind of putting in its first big candle off this bottom. Given it's retracing a tiny bit, I'm not too worried about any of this. To me, it's just nice to see a very, very strong piece of momentum kind of to lift XRP off this base. It's going to be really interesting to see if XRP can really get some momentum going and really put in some big candles against Bitcoin. We know this case is very close to wrapping up. Oh, you sent me a screenshot of it, Taylor? All right, I'll pull that up in a minute. We know this case is very close to wrapping up. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the catalyst to really make this thing move. But, guys, I mean, this is just another thing. These things move slowly. It takes us a while to fully see things play out. But when XRP was free falling, this was the place we were watching. We were like, it's very likely XRP is going to find support here. And that's exactly what it's done. Oh, okay. Let me throw that up on our chart here. Yeah, so this is what Taylor just pointed out to me, that the 19 EMA is really pressing down right here. We would love to see XRP get some momentum and go through here. Brian said, let's get this over 150 likes. That would be insane. Would really appreciate that. XRP mag pool. I haven't taken a look at the automated market maker in a bit. I'm still not involved in any specific AMM pools. I've been very clear about my overall concerns, not with the AMM itself at all. You can make a lot of money, but just why I don't want to put XRP in the pool right now. Haven't been this close since last July. Yeah, wow. And typically it's after these big falls, then XRP gets through. That's when we have some big momentum. Yeah, I believe the judgment announcement sends it also. I cannot wait to see when we get this announcement. Guys, knowing this announcement, it's going to come next week when I'm on vacation. I am firmly convinced we are going to get this announcement next week when I'm on vacation. Very, very convinced. Like, every single time I go on vacation, Judge Torres comes out with a huge announcement, and then I'm sitting there scrambling to make content. So I am almost positive we are probably going to get this announcement when I'm on vacation next week. Just out of curiosity, Taylor, because I never understand this. Why 19? Like I never got why it was like 19 EMA versus 17 AMA versus 18 EMA. Like what's the 19? Is there any significance to that, or is it just something that has proven to be reliable in the future or based on the past? Um, just out of curiosity, just out of curiosity. Why don't I go on vacation this week? Yeah, accelerate things. Okay. No, it's always like a moving average, but like I always wonder, like, well, hey, what's the significance of a various moving average? Because I can come in here and do a 25, right, and do the 25 EMA, and it just slowly moves it up and down this scale. So, you can kind of make the line go wherever you want. If I instead change this to the 15 EMA, then now we like broke it for support. Okay, because most people use 20. Interesting. Interesting. Where can we watch Powell live? We can get Powell on here if people are interested in that. Let me see if anyone has him talking yet. Yeah, it looks like he's not talking yet. Do we want to put Powell on when he comes on? If we want to listen to Powell, I can get Powell on. That is no problem. I just don't know if people want to listen to him. Russell up again. Yeah, the market expanding is huge right now. Really want to see that expanding market. We also got XRP sitting close to that 53-cent number. Would love to see some news come in and really put this up. Just for the decision. All right, all right, all right. Hold up.
Is that also in your mind something that we should be watching?
Okay, just to be clear, I think Nvidia bottomed. No guarantees here, but the market broadly, I think right now is already starting to move up. You can see Tesla bottomed right here, 258 on the day. That's a strong support. Like you really need some dirty news from Powell to go under 258. End phase,
yeah, still waiting for the ultimate Powell conference to start. So is it a rate decision today? I assume they're doing the rate decision. Let's send Mikkel on a permanent vacation. Yeah, XRP would be the world reserve currency at that point. If I just stayed on vacation, it'd be big announcement after big announcement. All right, cool. Defin, I figured. I'm monitoring the background, so as soon as Powell comes on, we'll switch it over. Rate cut. And I know rates aren't like that exciting to everyone, but just understand that like a rate cut would be so significant for this market. So significant for this market. Okay, so the market's now pricing in a 94% probability of a cut in September. I think there's a 6% cut today. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see rate cuts. Oh, if they cut today, we're ripping. I don't think they're going to cut today, though. There's no point in them being ahead of the market. All right, here we go.
With the
I'll
way
try here.
valuations are in the equity markets, with the way that
Over the weekend, there was tragic events in Pennsylvania. Some people wondered whether that would affect the markets today. Can you give us any insight as to whether you think it's had any impact on the markets?
David, I think I'll leave the markets out of it for a second, if I can, and just say that it was really a very sad day for our country. Political violence has no, and I'll say that I'm grateful that the injuries to the former president were not more serious. I'd rather not comment on the markets. It's too no foreplay, huh?
Okay. Let's go. Let's put the audio there. I don't know what was with the CNBC audio. Hold on.
So I'm going to take that as a great opportunity to talk a little bit about the economy and then talk about where that leaves us with policy. So,
Oh, they were just quiet.
start by saying that the U.S. economy has performed really remarkably well over the last couple of years. 2023, last year, was a year in which the economy grew well above 3%. The labor market remained very strong. Unemployment remained very low, and inflation came down at quite a sharp pace, particularly in the second half of the year, by a very large amount. And that forecast was almost unheard of. It was unheard of before 2023. So big upside surprise that year. This year, we had expected the economy to slow a bit gradually, the labor market to continue to gradually cool off after being overheated a couple of years ago, and inflation to continue to make progress. And something like that is basically what has happened. The economy is growing now at about 1.5% in the first half of the year. Most forecasters have about a 2% growth rate for the full year. The labor market, again, has moved into better and better balance to the point where I think you can now say it's essentially no tighter than it was in 2019 before the pandemic. Remember that the labor market of 2019 was a very strong labor market. So we're back to that place, no longer overheated. On inflation, more progress. The second quarter, actually, we did make some more progress. We've had now 3 better readings, and if you average them, that's a pretty good pace. So turning to policy, your question, what we said is that we didn't think it would be appropriate to begin to loosen policy until we had greater confidence that inflation was moving sustainably down to 2%. We've been waiting on that, and I would say we didn't gain any additional confidence in the first quarter, but the 3 readings in the second quarter, including the one from last week, do add somewhat to confidence. We've also said that we're a dual mandate
Bullish.
bank. For a long time since inflation arrived, it's been appropriate to focus mainly on inflation, but now that inflation has come down and the labor market has indeed cooled off, we're going to be looking at both mandates. They're much better balance, and that means that if we were to see an unexpected weakening in the labor market, then that might also be a reason for reaction by us.
So the market just moved pretty big on that right there. The fact that the Federal Reserve is saying they're working on both mandates now is very big, because for a while they were just saying we're going to nuke the economy to try to get everything working again. Now they're saying, hey, it might be time to start cutting soon, especially with the cool labor market. So that's bullish.
So today, I'm not going to be sending any signals one way or the other on any particular meeting. So just to ruin the fun right at the beginning.
Thanks, Powell.
I simply, we're going to make these decisions meeting by meeting, and we're going to make them on the basis of the data as they come in, the evolving data, the evolving outlook, and also the balance of risks now that the 2 mandates are basically close to being in balance.
All right, there are some people who say that the Fed would not like to lower interest rates in a presidential campaign period because you could be criticized for helping one party or another. Do you have any comment on whether that's an accurate view?
I do. So our undertaking at all times is that we'll make our decisions based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, balance of risks, and only on that. We don't take political considerations into account. We don't put up a political filter on our decisions. That would not, it's hard enough to make these decisions based on the appropriate factors. If you're going to add a whole different filter in an area where we're not experts, it's not going to improve the quality of our decisions. And it's also not the orders we have from Congress. Our orders from Congress are to use our tools to foster maximum employment and price stability.
While he knocks off that politics thing, quick thing, you send signals at the FOMC. It's okay for him to say he's not sending signals today. We want the implications.
Or anything that's political.
What's implied, right?
The Fed has set a target for inflation of 2%. Now, can you clarify, does that mean that the inflation rate has to be at 2% before you're ready to move, if you are ready to move, or does it have to be within sight? And what does it mean to be within sight?
So when we change interest rates, that tightens financial conditions, and that in turn affects economic outcomes, growth, labor markets, and ultimately inflation, but with lags that can be long and variable, as Milton Friedman famously said. And the implication of that is that if you wait until inflation gets all the way down to 2%, you've probably waited too long, because the tightening that you're doing, or the level of tightness that you have, is still having effects which will probably drive inflation below 2%.
This is big right here, and this is something I've been hammering on the channel, and hopefully you guys don't mind just me going into a quick little explanation here. It sounds like he's talking about pretty basic stuff, but I really want to show you this because it's important. This is something we've been talking about. It's the idea that you don't necessarily have to wait until rates are at a point. You don't necessarily have to start cutting when inflation is at that 2% rate. And I'll show you exactly why. This is right here. What I'm about to show you is the average for inflation over the past 100 years. And what you can see is over the past 100 years, we're actually well within kind of where we have normally been. So this idea that you have to wait until inflation gets to 2% when we're at 3% to start cutting rates when we're already within this average, it shows that like we're probably already most of the way there. Just so you guys understand what he means when he says these things lag. The rates have already been high, and the effects of the rates are going to take a while for the economy to really feel it.
But one of the voters is always...
Oh, whoops. Whoops.
Person speaks on those things, and I speak at the end of that day. Then there's a brief presentation on monetary policy, and then we go to dinner upstairs in the Martin building, and we come back the next morning. We come in at 9 o'clock, and we talk about monetary policy until we're satisfied with the outcome on monetary policy, and that usually takes most of the morning.
Okay, so when you go into an FOMC meeting, that the first day, do you pretty much know where you want to come out at the end of the second day, or you want to listen to everybody and you haven't made up your mind yet?
The way it works is that, I talk to the other 18 participants regularly, and I talk to all of them at least once in the 10 days before the meeting. And I'm thinking about this 3 or 4 weeks before the meeting. What should we want to achieve? What data do we need to see? How do we want to change our communications? All those things. And so I talk to people, listen to them, and I try to put together an answer that has broad support on the committee. And so when we go into the committee on Tuesday morning, I'm confident usually that I know where this is going to go, but things happen. We get data during the meeting sometimes.
Somebody says this is the foreplay. Totally agree. Dave's setting him up.
what the likely outcome is, and that's the design of it.
So normally, if somebody calls somebody, you call all the other board members, FOMC members from time to time. When you call them, do you have a trouble getting your call returned, or you get a call right back, or do they take your call right away?
These calls are scheduled generally, and they go all day long. I have like the Friday before the meeting, I think I have 11 half-hour calls, and it's pretty. We talk about the economy. We talk about very specific aspects of the economy, about our mandate, and then we talk about policy. So there's a lot to talk about. I take pretty careful notes, and people think, but by this point, they've read all of the preparatory materials probably twice. They've talked about it with their staffs. And so, you get a really good sense of what people's thinking is. It's a very good process.
But you don't feel you have to have unanimity when you make a decision, right?
No, I always try to listen carefully to everybody. I find that if you do listen and understand people's points and try very hard to incorporate them into what we're doing, for most people, most of the time, that's going to be enough. People do dissent. That's completely fine. we actually have, given that we have 12 reserve banks with their own economic staff and people with different backgrounds on the board and among the reserve banks, we have a disparity of views at every meeting on every question. But people do, I mean, I think there's a, you want to dissent on important things. And so people are perfectly able to dissent. And when they think that's appropriate, they do.
So a lot of people in Washington at government agencies are very good at leaking things. You're not that good at that. Why doesn't the Fed leak more? Why don't you kind of leak a lot more about what you
Guys, I'm just going to stop it right there real quick. See if anything else is interesting going on. Deepin, you're right. I don't think they're going to come forward with a decision this meeting, but we did get some very interesting details on kind of Jerome Powell's posturing. I want to see where he takes right after this kind of, I don't want to say done. Like, I don't care about like the questions like, are you going to purposely leak data? Like, I hate that. It's like, that's not, I didn't come here to listen to Jerome Powell talk about why he's not supposed to leak data. It's like, obviously he's not supposed to leak data. What's really important to see is his general indication on where he thinks the market is going. And to me, it seems pretty obvious that he thinks inflation's less of an issue now. He believes jobs is the biggest issue, and he believes rates probably should come down towards the back half of the year. Like, I don't think there's really much more to it than that. Rate cuts in September. I think September or after, or the next decision after that, we'll see it.
So here's my answer to that question. When inflation arrived in March of 2023, it was really coming out of the goods sector, and it was connected to really high demand for goods, and it was and you know, the supply chains, global supply chains, which account for most manufactured goods, collapsed because of too much demand and because of COVID. And you know, so and to us that looked like a temporary fleeting situation. We also lost several million people out of the labor force, so wages went way up as the economy really boomed when we reopened the economy. And we thought, you know, we were getting vaccines were coming in, and we thought that would fix itself too. Kids would go back to school. We essentially overestimated how quickly the economy would return to normal. These things finally did happen in 2023, but they didn't happen in 2021 or 2. And what we meant by transitory was that it would go away fairly quickly without the need for our intervention. You don't want to intervene with interest rates if something's going to go away quickly without us intervening, because, you know, monetary policy, as I mentioned, works with long and variable lag. So the lure is you look through things like a temporary oil shock. So that was the mistake, was that it actually didn't reverse itself. The problems with the supply side didn't reverse themselves until 2023, when they really did, when we got a big burst of employment, and also the supply chains were fixed.
So in hindsight, now knowing everything you now know, would you have done anything differently? Would you have had less quantitative easing? Would you have changed interest rates differently? What would you have done differently now knowing everything we now know?
You know, it's almost unfair. You know, hindsight's always 20/20, right? You know, we remember what we were doing in real time. We went from a really nice economy in December of 2019 to a global partial shutdown of the economy. And we
See, this is kind of the bullish case, because I mean, this is kind of back to the whole idea that most of the inflation was just COVID stuff. Now that COVID's gone, a lot of the inflationary pressures are gone, and we're really just going back and reversing a lot of the damage they did. I mean, to me, that's massive. That, like, if it really is just stream volume, testing, volume. All right, I think it's all right. To me, it just seems like pretty obvious at this. Oh, maybe I have to do this. Yeah, this should help. Testing. All right. Yeah, that should make it better. Testing. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say real quick. Oh, it's defaulting back down to a lower level. Okay. As long as you guys say the audio is good, I'm still trying to figure out my new setup here. Volume video. Got it. No, yeah, no, I pulled that real quick. We'll go back.
Time so far, by the way. Like none of this is new so far.
What the economy is going to do. I'll give you a good example. In our teal book, every FOMC cycle, there's a book that goes out and there's a baseline forecast in that. And our forecasters are
no news is good news.
Really the top people in the field. And they give you that baseline. They also give you a section in that book which shows 7 or 8 alternative scenarios, which they also regard as plausible. So it's always a probability thing like that. It's like we've identified this one thing. So last year was a big surprise, and it was a big upside surprise. So of course we welcome those. We'd be happy to have more of those, but it just was one of those things where, where things turned out much better for a whole variety of reasons. I will say that on the hard landing question, I have always felt like that there was a pathway to getting inflation back down to our 2% goal on a sustainable basis without the kind of pain in the labor market, the kind of high unemployment that has been typical of tightening cycles and getting inflation down. And the reason why my colleagues and I thought that was that the labor market was so overheated that it could cool down quite a bit without having to. There still is apparently no slack in the labor market. The labor market does not have slack. Essentially, you're at equilibrium now. But look where inflation is. Inflation's at 2.5%. So this was in defiance of a lot of conventional wisdom, but we thought that was right. And that says that you have to be, one thing you learn is humility in forecasting. But so I wouldn't rule it out. But I would say that the kind of hard landing scenario is certainly not the most likely or a likely scenario.
So you have said you have a target of.
Okay, so right there, he's essentially saying that he doesn't believe a hard landing is the likely scenario, which, that's massively important because a hard landing means a recession. And this has been one of the biggest things that there's been pushback against, right? Is there going to be a hard landing or is it going to be a soft landing? So the fact that he's now once again saying that he doesn't believe there's going to be a hard landing, that is very, very significant in my opinion. It's one of the biggest things we were kind of struggling with, which is, are we going to end up seeing a recession because of what we just went through? And now Jerome Powell is saying, hey, all the people who have been forecasting the recession have been wrong, and kind of just saying he thinks they're going to continue to be wrong. Martin Davis, good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to keep watching this in the background and seeing if anything interesting comes up, but the market's liking it. The market is definitely liking it. XRP is now close to 53, pushing kind of close to 54 cents. Take a look at this. XRP putting in a nice candle right now. Guys, make sure to keep liking the stream. Super, super helpful when you guys do that. And let's see what happens over the next couple minutes here. It seems like the market is really liking what Powell had to say. overall, it just seems like Powell is dovish, and that's why the market's kind of taking off. It just seems like he's very, very open to the idea of focusing on the labor market, no longer inflation. It seems like he thinks inflation is most of the way out the door. Oh, Blockchain Backer just did a very interesting chart of the Russell. Fire Dog said, so mad my 38.5 cent buy for XRP didn't hit. Should have just DCA'd down from 52 cents. Yeah, guys, as much as I totally understand your sentiment there, Fire Dog, look, man, for me, it's like one of those things. It's like, does it really matter that much? Like, if we just zoom out and take a look at a weekly chart, like, XRP right now has been in the same sort of price range, you could argue, since 2017-ish. Like, does it really matter if you didn't get the exact bottom on that specific time frame? Like, the more important thing to watch is just making sure you're accumulating at these levels for when the next big parabolic move comes in, right? When the next big move comes in, that really makes it so it didn't matter when you bought anywhere in this time frame, right? It was all about the next step up. Not that I don't disagree. Getting a nice cost basis feels great, and getting a nice buy and being up in the short term feels great. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that, and I think it's very good that people are picky about getting assets at a good price. But at the same time, it's like if you bought an asset for 20 cents and then your friend bought it for 25 cents and then the asset goes to $300, are you really going to be sitting there like, oh man, I can't believe you got it 5 cents? You know, it's just not a big deal. So I totally understand the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. And I love that people are always trying to maximize their buys. I just want people to understand that over the long run, right, it's really important to fully realize that I don't believe a lot of these discrepancies in a couple cents are going to make much of a difference. I think most of us are going to make out pretty well, whether or not you timed every bottom perfectly or you missed every single bottom along the way. I think the people who bought tops all along the way are going to end up being in a pretty good position where even they thought they were going to be in a very, 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 very bad spot that ultimately turned out pretty good. Trying to get my average down. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, Fire Dog. And I knew you wouldn't take it the wrong way. I just want people listening to understand, right? If you don't care enough about watching the market all day and trying to get the perfect price, don't. And I think you'll be okay. So just for those watching who don't do that kind of stuff, don't understand you don't have to. And I think you'll be in a good spot regardless. Let's tune back into Jerome Powell real quick and see if we're missing anything here.
2% inflation, you want to get it in sight of 2%. Do you have a similar target for unemployment? If unemployment went to
cause that, and are the forces that cause that gone for now? And I think most people attribute the low inflation era to slow moving forces like demographics, globalization, technological evolution, things like that. And those may or may not have changed, but but nonetheless, I look at where we are now. Our funds rate is 5.3%, roughly, give or take, and it feels like it's restrictive, but not severely restrictive. So it tells me that rates, at least for now, the neutral rate must have risen, probably has risen from where it was during the inter-crisis period. And I mean, I think instinctively, I can't prove this. We're gonna learn about this empirically, but it seems to me that the neutral rate is probably higher than it was during the inter-crisis period, and so rates will be higher.
So the Federal Reserve, without saying you're going to lower interest rates at this point, if you did lower interest rates at some time,
red candles on that.
You didn't want to lower interest rates and then maybe say, well, maybe we made a mistake and we're going to increase them again. You want to have a policy that's fairly consistent for a while. In other words, lower interest rates, but not bounce back and forth every FOMC meeting. Is that a fair summary?
That wouldn't be a great outcome, but we don't want to be too risk averse. I think we want to, we know that the economy is unpredictable. And, the test we've set is we want to have greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably down to 2%, or alternatively, if we see unexpected weakening in the labor market or some combination of those two. And when we see that, and the data really show that, and that's reflected in our confidence and our understanding, then it'll be time for us to move. And we won't worry. Of course, it wouldn't be great if you were moving up and down quite a bit. That wouldn't be ideal.
Some of your predecessors used to speak in what I call Fed speak, which is to say incomprehensible to the average person. You try to actually explain things. Is that because you're not an economist, or you just like to explain things better because you actually sort of explain what you're likely to do at the Fed and then you actually explain it afterwards? Does that upset a lot of people at the Fed? Did you actually try to put it in English?
No, I don't think so.
You, Fire Dog, you nailed it. This is exactly what the markets do. Big institutions have trading programs that listen to speeches and then buy accordingly off those speeches. And that's why I very, very, very rarely agree with people who do day trading, just because the big institutions are using artificial intelligence to run their algorithms to constantly be picking up on everything they say. So, no, I don't think he is an economist, but I wouldn't put too much stock in economists. Economists have been saying we were going to be going into a recession for the past 2 years now, 3 years. Since COVID, every quarter has been the next quarter before a recession. Every economist has been wrong. I hate to say it, but Powell's actually been very correct. He made a couple bad decisions early on, but for the most part, Powell hasn't done a bad job. Like, it really hasn't been Powell's fault. It's been a lot more of the politicians' faults than Powell's. Powell's been stuck in a weird position where essentially he's going against everyone else in the administration. Let me see if I can find anything else interesting I wanted to talk about here. Bum, bum, bo. Let's see what we got. Yeah, a lot of the talk is just that the Federal Reserve is ready to cut rates. Nothing overly interesting in the news. XRP still kind of hanging out on where it was. Any leaks or ways to watch RNC? I'm gonna let someone else cover that on the stream, Fire Dog. I'm probably gonna wrap this up. Is Eddie paid to fund? Nah, Eddie's not paid. Look, Eddie has a lot of good information, and I think a lot of people don't like that she reports on the good and bad for Ripple, but it is good. Only 6 weeks till September. That's absurd. That's absurd. Wait, is that true? That can't be true. Yeah, like the 7th week that is insane and also sad. Oh my God. Feels like the summer just started. Jeez. No, Eddie doesn't push FUD. Eddie's just reporting on all the news, and she's gonna report on the news whether or not you like it or not. So Eddie's a great resource. This is the chart blockchain backer put up for the Russell. I don't watch the Russell too often, but ultimately, oh, I see what you're saying. I wouldn't misinterpret it. I think Eddie kind of is in a tough place because she wants to report on all the news and she gets a lot of pushback. So I think she's a very, very important asset to the community. The only thing I don't get why she's backing USDT so hard. Everyone's got to have their own opinions, right? Like it's easy to be anti-tether if you want to be pro-tether. It's a controversial opinion. Like I don't know. She's probably feels the same thing for being anti-crypto. Like it's important that people are able to come out with their own opinions, right? Like so important. So look, and someone's going to end up being right? So she'll have to eat her words, and Tether turned out to be a terrible call by her, or she's going to be one of the only ones who was right on it, and she can rub it in everyone's face. So based by her track record, there's a good chance she has it right and everyone else has it wrong. So it's not to say like I ultimately think I'm in the middle. I don't think Tether's going to black swan. I think Tether's going to be fine. I think Tether's going to be pushed out of the regulated system. She seems to think Tether's going to strive and survive. I don't know about strive. I think they'll survive. So I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm also open to everyone having their own opinion. I don't want people to feel like they have to think a certain way just because that seems like the easy choice. That's so funny, Taylor. It is. That's crazy. No, don't get me wrong, man. If you take crypto and bring it to an old person and you say this is used for corruption and all this different stuff, then you fall into it. I think she's nice, but I feel like that's funny, Sackham. Everyone's got their own style, though. I'll say Eddie's one of the first people I started watching, and I learned a tremendous amount from her channel. So all love here, man. All love here. But look, everyone's entitled to have their own opinions, and that's why you guys are in the best space possible. You guys just get to listen to everyone and stick with the people you see and think are doing a good job. And if you think someone's doing a bad job, then you move on, right? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think so too, Taylor. I think so too. Got to step out of the moon goggles time to time for sure. For sure. No, I agree. I think it's important. And look, some people don't like to have don't deal with other people's opinions well, which is fine, right? Like you guys are listeners, right? You get to be spoiled. You guys get to be spoiled. You guys get to have whatever opinions you want and let them be known. And it doesn't really matter what you guys think. Ultimately, you guys just consume the content you like. So it's on us creators to produce the best content possible and try to give you guys something you'll enjoy. And that's kind of my perspective on it. I don't really hold anything against you guys for choosing to dislike or like anyone's content. I think ultimately you guys kind of dictate where all of us kind of creators go. You guys are easy though. You guys are absolutely incredible. Super, super positive. So you guys make my job easy. Oh, that's funny. California workers are now saying they want $30 minimum wage after California went to 20. Now they're saying I want to 30. Bitcoin going up. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Looks like XRP is looking pretty good too. We're at 33.4. XRP slow and steady. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Almost back at 64. Almost back at 64. Guys, let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. Every single time the market dips, people start freaking out. Everyone says, oh, this chart's collapsing. You get this huge recovery. Look at this thing. Talk about it looked like things were bad. It looked like Bitcoin was tanking. It looked like it fell through support. If you had support here, just looked like everything was not going Bitcoin's way. And then out of nowhere, huge reversal, massive green candle. What we talked about, guys, what we talked about is Bitcoin pushing up here, trading sideways, making its big move upward. And that's where I would really start to see XRP making its move, especially if that's to coincide with the Ripple SEC case ending, which it looks like that's probably how it's going to play out. Really appreciate all 700 of you watching over on X. Make sure to drop a like and retweet on the stream. Same thing for people watching over on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely incredible. Oh, thank you so much, Fire Dog. Appreciate the donation. What are your thoughts on this profit? Oh, XRP and Trump. Look, this isn't going to be one of my most popular opinions out there, Fire Dog, but I'm going to give it to you. I don't think Trump really knows much about XRP. I think Trump likely knows a lot of people and a lot of very smart people who do know about XRP. And I believe Trump has people in his administration who are pro crypto, pro XRP, and ultimately were taking meetings with the Ripple guys. I don't think Trump really has too much information on anything crypto or XRP related. I think the great thing about Trump is he's very open to accepting new ideas. He likes business and he likes things that are progressive. So I think it's a very good thing that Trump had people surrounding him who were pro crypto, but I don't think Trump himself really knows much about crypto or XRP, to be completely honest with you. But that's just my opinion. You have files. I don't know who I'm not sure who you're talking about who said they saw the future, but I'm skeptical of anyone who saw the future. Shoot me. I mean, I think I know who it is, but I'll play dumb for now. Brandon Briggs. All right, we'll look it up. What else do we have to lose? Oh, this guy. What does that have to do with XRP, though? No way. No way. I had no idea this happened. Yo, what? Hold on. So this is the guy who predicted that the bullet was going to go right by Trump's head, right? Like that's the guy who said this 3 months ago before.
He said, "You've asked me about investments." And he said, "I'm going to tell you something that will increase like Apple one day, that will be a major investment in the end times." And he said, XRP will go from where it's at right now to $10,000 one day. It will be worth over $10,000 per XRP. And when he said that to me, I didn't even know what XRP was. And I was like, what is XRP? So I had to Google it. And I
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put too much stock in it, but it's interesting to say nonetheless. Funny stuff, man. Yeah, I see the future. I see Mickle and many more making money. Roger, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you so much, man. And I can't wait for the day we finally make it. Great chart right here, guys. By the way, I love these charts. A lot of people think, oh, I need to start taking profits. I need to do X, Y, and Z. This bull market has barely got going. This bull market has barely got going. I mean, just take a look at this chart. Does it really get more bullish than? Oh, wow. XRP at 30, 33 and a half. Very cool. Very cool. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. Fake? Is it fake? I wouldn't be surprised if it was fake. Show XRP. All right, we'll take a look at the XRP price chart. This will probably be the last thing we do. We've been going for a while here. XRP price chart sitting at 33.7. Just waiting to ultimately get back to where we were before. Guys, to me, everything looks very, very good. To see XRP back within the symmetrical triangle, grinding away, just like it had before in the past. To me, it just seems like we're just waiting for that last catalyst to put us over the edge. But as we can see here, we are still well within this thing now. Every single time it looks like XRP is going to fall out, it figures out how to fall back in and extend time. But we know there's some big decisions around the corner that won't be extended, like the Ripple SEC case ending. So I would not be surprised if ultimately that was the thing to do it. Fake 100%. All right, good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Funny, nevertheless. All right, guys, we're going to call it here. If anything else happens interesting later today, we'll report on it in the video later. Guys, thank you so much for coming. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you, Fire Dog, for the donation. Oh, I can barely speak anymore. Guys, I'll talk to you later. And for now, Mickle out.